Hello, America, and to our friends around the world, greetings and welcome back. This scene right here was from the early 80s, the early 1980s, Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. Leonard Nimoy plays Mr. Spock, who is now Captain Spock, in charge of a ship full of teenage cadets. Maybe not all of them were teenagers, but they were definitely youthful. And facing total destruction, Captain Spock makes the ultimate sacrifice.
Are you out of your Vulcan mind? No human can tolerate the radiation that's in there. Good God, man, get out of there!
I've said it before, Star Trek has always been able to incorporate real world commentary under the veil of science fiction, fiction, fantasy.
What, have you lost all your sense of reality?
This isn't reality. This is fantasy.
This is pop culture prophecy. You have a quote from, bear with me, Yasutara Yamada. We are past our expiration date. Let the young live. We'll take the radiation so Japan has a future. I'm going to share with you what inspired my motivation to do this. The first clip is Tim Pool commenting about this situation in Japan. And the next clip is going to deal with the specifics of this ordeal, this sacrifice. If you're not aware, and I'm not pronouncing it correctly, but the Fukushima 50 refers to the older workers at the nuclear reactor plant staying behind, wading through radioactive water, doing things manually by hand, and being contaminated at their own risk so that younger generations would not be sterilized and could build a future.
The tsunami hit the Fukushima Daiichi reactor, knocking out its cooling system, creating a catastrophe. And y'all remember this. This is 14 years ago? A little bit longer. Almost 15 years ago. Isn't that kind of crazy, right? Well, guess what happened? Old people showed up and said, I have lived my life already. Allow me to go in and try and solve this problem, save the, stop the meltdown. And the concern was, but you will die from the radiation. And many of these elderly people said, I've lived my life already. It's my turn to sacrifice for the young people.
Imagine standing at the edge of a nuclear meltdown, knowing every second could be your last, and still choosing to stay. In 2011, after a massive earthquake and tsunami, the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear plant was spiraling out of control. Radiation was leaking, alarms were blaring, and chaos gripped Japan. Most workers evacuated, but 50 men refused to leave. They were engineers, technicians, and soldiers, ordinary people who became extraordinary heroes. With no promise of survival, they fought to cool the reactors, fully aware that they would likely die from radiation poisoning. If they failed, multiple reactors could have exploded, turning vast parts of Japan into uninhabitable wastelands. The world calls them the Fukushima 50. Men who risked everything for people they would never meet, a lesson that true greatness lies in selflessness.
This is real life. This is what men do. Spock, a man, a Vulcan man, to be technical, knew he'd lived a full life for these cadets had barely even begun to get out and see what was out there. So the parallel is so perfect, it hurts. Both are old men choosing slow, agonizing death by radiation so the next generation can live. Both Spock and the Fukushima 50 say the same thing. We've had our time. You haven't. Growing up, my father worked shift work. And as my sibling and I were older, my father would work voluntarily on holidays such as Thanksgiving. And my mother explained it to me as such. Older men had done the same for him so that he could be at home with me and my sibling when we were younger. You don't see that anymore. When's the last time you had a work environment where those without children, those without families, those whose children were older volunteer to work so that those with younger family members, younger children, younger families could be home with them during holidays? As a manager one time, and I had younger children at home. I had, this is post divorce. My assistant, who comes in 5, 6 hours after I had started already at 5 in the morning, this is at 6 o'clock at night or something to that effect, and I could hear him across the building. Well, just keep it in the oven. You and my 20-plus-year-old son and his 20-plus-year-old wife, who still live at home with me, you three go ahead and have dinner without me because I have to stay here at work. I have never hated somebody so much in that moment as I did right then and there. My children, one was a teenager, so it was all right. My children were home alone, and that SOB had the audacity to whine on such a level. Anyway, but these men, this Fukushima 50, they did what others wouldn't or shouldn't. And that was they stuck around because they had lived their life. Apparently, Japan won't release the full health records of these 50. And whether that is Japanese culture, whether that is masculinity on display of, look, the job's got to get done. We don't have time to wring our hands and coulda, woulda, shoulda. It had to be done. Many have already died quietly. But their sacrifice needs to be remembered. Whether it's Mr. Yamada or any of the others that were there, they did what needed to be done, and that was save the future generations. Let me know your opinions, and as America Uncovered suggests, just at the very minimum, put a flag emoji in the comments. Do the like, share, subscribe if you felt informed by this. Good luck out there.